It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All the sports news you need every day in under 20 minutes. Follow Locked On today on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. You are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked on. Locked on. Cowboys. Locked on Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Locked On Cowboys podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Marcus Mosher. You can follow me on Twitter at Marcus_Mosher. And joining me today, as always, is Landon McCool. You can check him out on Twitter at McCoolBCB. You can also listen to him on the Best Coast Boys podcast. Landon, I have a confession to make. I never had Whataburger before. Is it good? Is it worth the hype?
It's the greatest thing ever devised by man.
Well, I mean, according to Jerry Jones, that's true, right?
Jerry Jones honestly was underselling Whataburger, and I'm a little upset about it. But it is by far the greatest hamburger, fast food burger on the planet. But we don't want to bore people with that because we've got more important, more exciting things to talk about.
We do,
like Mike McCarthy's shirt in that meeting I thought was the height of fashion.
That and somebody was wearing Crocs. They didn't identify which player Crocs it was, but I did see some Crocs. All right, Landon. So we're going to break down episode 4 of Hard Knocks from HBO, featuring the Dallas Cowboys. And boy, what a jam-packed episode this was. I'm being a little facetious here. So
a little bit.
Biggest takeaway from this episode?
Well, honestly, the biggest takeaway I thought was that we were going to get some footage finally of Dak throwing the football a little bit. We didn't get any of it, so I thought that was a little weird. My biggest takeaway is that it was interesting to kind of see the down roster guys go through this whole process, though they acted unaffected by it completely. It was just it's a lot of, I guess at this point now it's more. There hasn't been like such an exciting storyline to pop out. I mean, the Isaac stuff is really interesting. The Kamara stuff is fascinating with their families and their involvement.
The Kamara thing more interesting now that he made the 53-man roster?
It certainly is. I mean, I guess we're going to kind of see some of that stuff, play out next week, I would assume, right? So that's always fascinating. I mean, the cut down episode is always a lot more drama and fascinating, but yeah, I mean, really, it's like you're going to see Ben get cut. But Kamara made the team, and Isaac, technically didn't. I mean, he didn't make the team, but he's part of the roster exemption, so he's part of the team. Yeah. So it's a lot of the drama is sucked out of that whole situation. I don't know. I thought it was there's lots of individual things that were individually interesting, and I think that's been the case this whole season, right? It's like it's not so much that there's been very interesting storylines or an overarching theme that's really fascinating. It's more just a thing here or there that's kind of that's interesting.
All right, yeah, it's one of those episodes. There's not a lot to take away, but we're going to do our best to stretch some takeaways. First and foremost, for me, Dak Prescott, the trash talker, very impressed. Right, like he even got Amari Cooper to trash talk, which is pretty hard to do. So I thought I was impressed.
He got caught. I mean, Amari had to apologize at the end of it. He got so caught up with Dak. He's like, man, I'm sorry I did that to you, 27. Dak got me all riled up. I didn't know what happened. It's like Dak's that guy that like convinces the whole group of people to like, a group of guys to do something absolutely insane and like, let's go to Vegas. Like he's the guy who will convince you to run through a wall with him. Apparently.
Well, yeah, it was really good. Prescott or Pylon Prescott? Prescott. Yes, no.
I'm buying that game when it comes out. I'll tell you that much.
I like how Dak said, we're all going to be millionaires. I think he kind of caught himself like, wait, I already am.
Yeah. Whoops. Oops. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, frankly, like at least one other person, maybe two are in that room are probably millionaires too. So
yeah. I thought that was funny. All right. Some other winners from Michelle Lana. Who do you got?
Well, I mean, I don't know if a winner, but I guess it was interesting that let's talk about winner. Let's talk about Aiden Dirty. the defensive line coach for.
Man.
I mean, it's just hilarious. It's just fun to watch him. And honestly, I thought at the beginning of the episode, everybody was complaining about the heat and all that, and look, I mean, it is hot, and when you're especially, I remember what it was like to wear pads in Texas during this time of year. It was terrible, but I thought it was really fascinating the way he kind of stopped everything. Was like, look, you guys can complain about this, whatever. These may be, for some people, this will be their last few days of playing football, and I think that's something that, like, more than any other sport, that is like. It's such a harsh reality about this sport. I mean, more than basketball, you can always play some, advanced league basketball game. You know what I'm saying? Like you can probably play in some softball league if you love that. If you're, a golfer, you can play that forever. If you're a football player and you love to play the sport of football in the way that it's intended, like with full, tackle and with the team, like the opportunity runs out quick. And for these guys, it's I think that part's fascinating. So him pulling everybody aside and kind of reminding everybody, hey, Sunday may be some of the people that are on this field's last time to play football. So let's honor that by putting in some work.
Yeah. I want to go back to the heat really quickly, and I got a question, like a legitimate question for you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like 110 degrees out there in Dallas, and yet people are wearing hoodies on the field. Like, explain that to me.
Well, that's a football player thing. I mean, that's a
But
it's
not
the
even
old
football players. The coaches are wearing hoodies on the field.
It's
Why?
It's the old wear the trash bag under your
yeah, but if you're a coach, what do you care?
I don't know, man. Like I'm not condoning it. I'm just telling you what the thing is, and it's a toughness thing, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't get it. Okay. I mean, Zeke wears it every day. Like, so it's like. I mean, he's just trying to lose weight, and according to you, he needs to. So maybe that's what. Speaking of losing weight, like we got to talk about Jaquan and his yams. And
I was just about to mention that. Another thing I've never had before. I've never had yams.
Oh man, really? Yeah. Yams are good, but I don't know that they made it
northern thing.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, but they certainly didn't make Jaquan a lot faster. I'll say that. I think I wanted to go or taller. I honestly, I think I wanted to go to the Parsons family cookout there. That looked legit.
Well, that's
mac and cheese
again. Parsons are from PA, where real food is made there, Landon, right?
Yeah, okay, that's something like that. I also thought it was funny in that section too, watching him play Connect Four with Leighton Vander Esch.
Yeah,
he loves the chess game, the mental aspect of all of it, like, and not only just competitive, but like the tricky, like being 4 steps ahead kind of mental aspect of that I really love that side of his personality. He's a fascinating kid.
He is. He's very cerebral, a little bit like Amari Cooper that way, right?
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit more outgoing.
He's more outgoing, but he has that side to him for sure. Yes, and I can see why they get. I was, it was funny when we heard that they were playing chess because it was like those two guys seem like a very odd couple. But like now that you've seen a little bit more, I totally get it. Like I totally see how he could get along with that type of personality.
All right, let's take a quick break so I can tell you guys about BetOnline. It's the fastest and easiest way to place all of your football bets. BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college action this season. All you have to do is head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today, and you will receive a 100% welcome bonus from football, basketball, boxing, baseball, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait and take advantage of all of the great offers that BetOnline has to offer. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
Hey, new FanDuel fantasy players. Your day is about to get 20% better. Start playing fantasy this football season, and FanDuel will give you 20% bonus on your first deposit, up to $500. That's a big-time bonus, and all you need to do to claim it is to make your first deposit on FanDuel. This is Vinny Iyer, host of Locked On Fantasy Football, and I've been playing on FanDuel for years. It's a lot of fun. I like to play tournaments. I like to play cash games. And most of all, I like to win, and you should get in on the action as well. If you haven't tried it, it's your chance to get in on FanDuel right now. You can also play private contests with your friends, and there's an awesome slate of games to open the 2021 season in Week 1. Excited to see what Trevor Lawrence can do. 6,800, great value there for the Jaguars rookie quarterback against the Texans. Another rookie you got to love, Najee Harris, Steelers running back, 6,500. You can get him in your lineup against the Bills right away. Experience season-long wins without a season-long wait. Sign up today at FanDuel.com/LockedOn to claim your bonus and start playing today. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Age and location restrictions apply. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires after 30 days.
All right, let's get to some more notes from this great episode of Hard Knocks. Rico Dowdle. We kind of talked about him a couple days ago, like maybe this is a fake. I don't want to use the word fake injury. Maybe it's not a long-term injury that really needed to have him go on the season-long injured reserve list. But now that we got some info that it was a hip and it was kind of affecting his whole body, I think maybe that it makes more sense, right? We got some background to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting to get context there, right? Like, see it kind of, the play that it started on. I don't know that I necessarily noticed that when it happened live.
Well, at least it's a fractured hip.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what's fascinating. And so, like, to see the play in the game and then to see him, like, actually dressed out at practice the next day and, like, trying to work through it and then realizing, yeah, something's not right. Yeah, something that's not right is that your hip is fractured. Yeah, it's like, you just figure that out. And that just shows you kind of like what these guys deal with, day to day. It's like, the bumps and bruises they have to push through to try to like fight for their jobs. So he barely noticed that he had a fractured hip and then he had to be pulled out. And obviously he's going to be out for months now. So I did think that was interesting. Yeah. The way that kind of unfolded. We got to see behind the curtain a little bit there.
We got to see the Cowboys running back coach tell basically Jaquan Hardy that, hey, this is your job now that Dowdle's gone. Did you believe that or no?
I don't know that that's I think what he was trying to say is that this is your opportunity to take this job, like, and that he used the example that I thought was pretty interesting of the Gatorade bottle. And it's like, here it is. It's like right here. You got to, grab it. You got to take the opportunity. I think it's funny because one of the things that was funny about this is that they edited it and everything like to set him up to, for a glorious kind of grab for, and that it just didn't materialize like that in the game. I mean, I thought he had kind of a mediocre game and really, kind of was like indecisive at points where he needed to be decisive. So it was almost like, it almost felt like they were trying to lead us into something where, he had this great game and he took the job and, that's not exactly how it turned out.
No, I mean, and we're recording this on, Tuesday night? Who knows if he even makes the practice squad, right? Like that's certainly still up for grabs. Like the Cowboys could easily just sign a running back to their 53-man roster and be like, you know what, we're good with Hardy. We've seen enough. We don't think he's ever got what it takes to be a not even a starting caliber player, but a functional player in the NFL. Let's grab somebody else and try it out. So
if Zeke gets a vote, then obviously he's going to make it in because apparently Zeke was pretty impressive.
We should talk about Zeke.
He's crazy, man. I love that dude. I know. I just think he's just nuts. Like he's just that ball of energy on the sideline. Like just I don't know. He's just going around hyping everybody up. I like the way he is.
He is a clown, but that's not the negative connotation of a clown, right? Like he's silly, he's goofy, he's funny, and I think players just kind of like his attitude, right? It's pretty infectious. Somebody who probably thinks they're funnier than they are, Terrell Batcham, right?
Yeah.
What was your thoughts on his first stand-up comic bit?
Here's the thing the difference between being like a comedian and like being like the funny guy in your friend group, right? Is that like, you do imitations of the people that you all know. Like that was the funniest thing he was doing was that like
the DeMarcus Lawrence one was good.
Do you guys know DeMarcus Lawrence? I think if he was on an airplane, it'd be like this, and then but ultimately even then it was just him telling stories of stuff that happened to them. So it was funny Bashy. Because we love you, Bashy. Seriously, I love the effort. I do think you're funny. You seem like a funny guy. But it's funny because when you play for the Dallas Cowboys, you have kind of this weird level of access to stuff, and you can set up a comedy club and go do 15 minutes of you doing inside jokes for the 25 other people who all get your joke. It was fun. I'm glad that they get to go do stuff like that, and get to go have it's good team building to hang out with each other and stuff, and especially to it's good to blow off steam and make fun of the coach, and all that stuff. So it was, but I mean, I don't know that. Don't quit your day job, Bashy. Let's keep working on that swim move.
Yes, exactly.
Not so much the comedy.
Any other takeaways from Hard Knocks? I want to get into some of the roster cuts the Cowboys made on Tuesday, just at the end of the show. But any final things you want to mention from this kind of lackluster episode?
No, I mean, it was that Eye of the Tiger cover during the game was
you didn't like it?
Just awful. No, I didn't. I did not like it.
So slow.
The Jerry Jones memorial coin toss. He's not dead. I shouldn't say memorial. But the Jerry Jones coin toss was pretty funny. Just kind of to see him out. Oh, don't screw this up. And flinging it. And the last thing I'd say is that D-Law is, I guess, the Buddha of this team. How many times did the second thought turn out to be a better thought than your first thought? And everyone's just. Well, a couple times. I don't know. I mean, what? I don't know.
I just love D-Law kind of casually walking into the room as Bashy's trying to do the joke for a second time in front of everybody. It was so good.
That jumpsuit was fire, by the way.
It was
double swoosh. That was fire.
It was very
Anyways.
Good. So big winner, Mike McCarthy in his outfits. Very, very nice.
That shirt.
Just like my uncle's going to a barbecue.
I can't hear you for his shirt. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Actually, that's like the combo shirt. I'm going to church first, and then I'm going to the barbecue after.
Very, very versatile shirt. Very, very, especially in Pennsylvania. I imagine. Very versatile shirt.
Well, that's the thing is I've seen that exact shirt like 50 times in the last year.
You know where he got that shirt.
Oh, that's he got that one at TJ Maxx for $11. So
that's right.
Yeah. All right, let's take one more quick break so I can tell you guys about DirecTV. DirecTV is awesome. I use it every single day. They've got this awesome new package called DirecTV Stream, which brings you live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, which means you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So stop waiting and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That is directtv.com. I also want to tell you guys about Built Bar just really quick. Built Bar is the absolute best tasting protein bar out there. It's hard to even explain it. Real chocolate with amazing flavors. It's just a great combination of low calories, high protein, and low sugar with no crazy additives. Best of all, they taste absolutely fantastic. Go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your next box at BuiltBar.com. All right, Lena, we should talk just really quickly about some of the cuts the Cowboys did make on Tuesday. And I really want to stress this is an active, fluid situation, right? There's a lot of guys that got cut today that I would not be surprised end up back on the roster. There's guys that made the roster today that might not be on this team by Wednesday afternoon. So what were some of the big surprises for you on this team?
Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say kind of right now because it's not final because of the reasons you just said, right? Like, but I would say that, I mean, we just said, and if it stands, I said, what was it, last night or 2 nights ago? These days run together. Kamara making the team is incredible. I mean, it's what a rise for this guy. I thought that
we talked about this the other day about trying to stash guys for a day to sneak them on your practice squad. That's what this one feels like to me. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Right. Like, but I still think the fact that he's gotten this far, that they're willing to do that is something, right?
It probably means he's one of their top 62 players, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's, again, incredible, quite a rise from where he was. So I think, Ralston being gone was not exactly ideal. But I think that there's other fullbacks out there still.
I think it's another one of those things, like the teams that want to have fullbacks on their teams already have them. Yeah, and you can probably cut him and pick him back up once you move whether Chauncey Golston to IR, Neville Gallimore to IR, Sean McHugh into IR. My guess is he's one of those guys that's just going to have to wait a day.
And maybe you find a guy who's closer to what you had in Alumba. I mean, not Alumba. I can't believe I forgot my own guy. Oseo. Owa. So I think your ideal situation is a guy who could give you some running back snaps if you need him, who can play fullback, who can also play some special teams. I also thought it was interesting that I think all the draft picks are made it, right? I think every single one.
Yes.
So Farniak was the one that obviously was at the bottom of that pile, and I thought that he had played a really good game, kind of at that last game and the last few actually. So maybe they're going to give him a shot to, maybe again he's a guy that ends up in the practice squad, but I think that they're at least willing to hang on to him, and he could be a guy who, if they can't get Connor Williams to get better at the snap specifically, maybe he's your backup center plan if something were to go on with Biotish. What about you? Anything that you saw that was you thought was fascinating?
Malik Turner and Semi Fahoku making the team. Now, I will preface this by saying CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown are currently on the COVID list. So that could be just a way to continue to practice, right? Because you can't really practice with only 3 receivers, right? So my guess is when the Cowboys open up against Tampa Bay, neither of those guys are on the roster, but we shall see. Rondell Carter getting cut, Justin Hamilton getting cut.
Yeah. I bet Hamilton will be back. I don't know about Carter, honestly. Hamilton, I think, is a vet, if I'm not mistaken, so he can just sit a day and come back or whatever. But
it's funny they chose Nye over Carter because we've kind of heard some of the opposite, right?
Well, I think that they also felt like that Nye probably would get. We'll see if Carter gets claimed, but
Carter got claimed multiple times last year, so it's interesting.
True. It will be interesting to see. I wonder if they have something. I mean, we heard that they may have something in the works for a trade with the Nye and or Knight. So it'll be interesting to see if any of that develops in the next few days. Yeah.
So again, this is going to be a pretty fluid thing. Don't expect the team that's on paper now to be their 53. I'm guessing 7 or 8 moves at least by this weekend. Would not shock me if we get some trades.
At least 6 to IR, right? I mean, I think that's what it is. So
we got McEwen, Gallimore. Sounds like Kelvin Joseph might be going to IR as well. Chauncey Golston. Am I missing anybody else?
No, actually, Golston actually can't. It turns out that was just confirmed by Todd.
See, that one doesn't make sense to me. Why can't he go on IR? Because he's
it does make sense because when I heard it, I was like, well, duh, because he had to pass a physical to get off of PUP. So in order to pass a physical to get off of PUP, you can't then turn around and put him on IR.
So, so that tells me that the Cowboys believe he's going to be ready before week 7 of the regular season, right? Because otherwise you just keep him on PUP.
I would assume that they just plan for him to be there healthy and active, or
somewhat healthy and active.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, but I'm saying it's probably pretty likely he's not ready for week 1, but week 3, week 4, that's probably like the circle, like when you're targeting a date, right?
Yeah, I would say that. If he's past a physical at this point, it's really just about getting him up to speed. I don't know how comfortable you're. I think the thing that's fascinating is, we knew him that he was a high floor player. I mean, that's kind of what I thought of him, and I think you did too. But he missed all of training camp. Missed all of it. So it's like
all the preseason.
He must have had So he must have really had a nice spring because they must feel like not only is he going to be healthy, ready to be that 6 weeks, he's also going to be good enough to either contribute or feel like they need to have him on the roster, because otherwise you're kind of wasting a roster mechanism here, right, unless you think that he's going to contribute in some way.
What about Luke Gifford making the team?
I got my Darian Thompson wish when we lose to Luke Gifford, and Thompson probably end up being back and stuff. I don't not dislike Thompson. It's just I really have no complaint about him now because all the safeties I wanted also made the team.
They're all on the team.
So Luke, he has a sponsor. I don't know if he's going to get any better. He's been good on special teams, so I don't have a problem with him being on the team. It's just like. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if he makes it.
All right, last one. I'm going to put you on the spot before we head out. Any guys that were released on Tuesday that you hope the Cowboys put a waiver claim in for?
Oh man, What's the name of the running back hybrid H-back guy? Jalen Samuels.
That's a good one. I got a better one though.
Who's that?
Ben Mason, the fullback that the Baltimore Ravens
I saw that. I didn't want to just put in a straight fullback claim.
But he's good. Like the problem is the Ravens already had an all-pro fullback in Patrick Ricard, who also can play defensive tackle for them. They had so many draft picks this year that they just didn't know what to do with them, so they took a fullback in like the 6th round. He had a heck of a camp in preseason, but there's just no spots. So why not?
I quote tweeted it and I said, "Walk, don't run, Cowboys." when I saw that he got cut. So yeah, I think there's guys out there. Look, the Cowboys put themselves in a spot where they need a third tight end, a third running back, and maybe a fullback. I've seen several good versions of all those guys kind of on the street so far. So the Cowboys are going to have their pickings in the spots they're looking.
All right, that is it for today's show. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, you can download the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow the show at Locked On Cowboys. You can follow Landon at McCoolBCB. I'm at Marcus_Mosier, and we'll see you next time.
The circus comes to Philly and the Saints march to Florida. Here's what our local experts are locked on today. Washington Nationals Vice President Bob Boone, father of Yankees manager Aaron Boone, has informed the team that he will resign instead of complying with a COVID-19 vaccine mandate. For more on this story, listen to the Locked On Nationals podcast with local expert Josh Neighbors today. Locked On 76ers host Keith Pompey broke the news late Tuesday that Ben Simmons informed the Philadelphia 76ers front office that he no longer wants to be part of the team. On the latest Locked On 76ers podcast, Keith says the team is inching towards a circus-like atmosphere. That's a must listen. The New Orleans Saints will open the season playing the Green Bay Packers in Jacksonville due to Hurricane Ida. How are the Saints handling all of these adjustments as the season is just days away? The answer is on the Locked On Today podcast. All the sports news you need in under 20 minutes. Follow Locked On Today, wherever you get podcasts. Local experts on the biggest stories. It's the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.